Hello, and welcome to Curly Shirley Storytime. Today's story is called Just a Servant. The author is Patricia Moore, and the illustrator is Doriano Strologo. Just a Servant is about a boy named Marciper meeting Jesus. Do you know who Jesus is? He lived way across the world in the Middle East over 2,000 years ago. That's a really long time ago. But you know what? He's still as important today as he was way back then. Are you ready to see how Marciper's life changed when he met Jesus? Let's go. Marciper loved going to the marketplace. As he did his master's errands, his mouth watered with the smell of boiling lamb. The animals called from their stalls. Colorful braided rugs flapped in the wind. A seller called out, "Delicious sweet honey for sale." Marciper stopped to look at the honey. How he loved honey! But since he was only a poor servant, he had no money. He slowly walked away. Jesus, they're saying. Marciper heard the hum of people talking. Lately, everyone was talking about a man named Jesus. Sometimes people shouted and argued over Jesus. Some thought he was the Messiah, and others thought he was only a skilled magician. Marciper wished he could see Jesus for himself. Then he would know if Jesus was the Messiah. He hurried through the marketplace. If he was late returning home, he would have to face his master's anger. "What took you so long?" his master would say. "An old feeble man could have returned from the market sooner than you." Marciper's face would redden with embarrassment. "I wish my master was kind to me," Marciper thought. Oh, how he wished he wasn't a servant. Marciper hurried through the marketplace. He saw a man surrounded by a large group of people. He heard someone cry out, "Here is Jesus." This was Marciper's chance to see Jesus. He weaved through the crowd, edging closer and closer to Jesus. His heart pounded with excitement. Marciper could almost touch Jesus. Marciper noticed that several children were by Jesus. One child was sitting on his lap. They didn't look like servants. Jesus looked upon Marciper. Jesus' eyes were filled with love and compassion. "Come here, my son, and rest for a while," Jesus said to Marciper. Marciper looked at Jesus with amazement. Jesus was calling him, but Marciper was just a servant. He wasn't worthy enough to sit with Jesus. "Please come here, my son, and rest," Jesus said to Marciper. Marciper came to Jesus. "Sit here," Jesus said. Marciper sat on Jesus' lap. At that moment, Marciper knew Jesus was more than a man. He was the Messiah. Joy filled Marciper's heart. He knew Jesus didn't see him as a servant, but as someone worthy of love. He was loved by Jesus. Marciper spent the afternoon with Jesus, listening to him speak to the crowds about God's love for them. He knew he would be late returning to his master, but he didn't fear his master's anger because he knew Jesus loved him. Marciper knew he wasn't just a servant. Do you love how special Marciper felt after meeting Jesus? Well, I never met Jesus in person, but he still makes me feel special like that too. I know he loves me, and it feels good right here. If you like this story, be sure to tell your friends, and you can go to our website at curlyshirleystorytime.com to learn how you can get your own copy. That's all for this time. Thanks so much for joining me, and I'll see you next time. Bye.